What if I told you that right now in the heart of Africa, you could buy a car that never needs fuel, never needs charging, and runs silently with clean, limitless energy? Sounds like a concept from the future, right? But Maxwell Chikumbutso has just made it real. And now he's opened the doors of the world to buy. Breaking the silence. For years, rumors and whispers surrounded Zimbabwe's most mysterious inventor, Maxwell Chikumbutso. His creations, often dismissed by skeptics as too advanced to be real, shocked the world when he revealed a self-powered electric vehicle running on Microic energy technology. An energy source that defies conventional physics. But today, the whispers have become headlines. In a globally streamed announcement from a newly built smart facility just outside Harare, Maxwell unveiled official pricing, purchase channels, and most importantly, how the public can finally own his revolutionary inventions. What you can buy today. On stage next to his now iconic SUV prototype, Maxwell detailed three key product lines. The Greener Power EV SUV, a 5-seater self-powered electric vehicle that needs no fuel, no plug, and no charging infrastructure. Range, infinite, as long as the components remain intact. The Microsonic Energy Homebox, MHB01. A briefcase-sized wireless power generator capable of running an entire house silently with zero emissions. The personal EV scooter, Microic. A compact urban mobility device ideal for city commuters. Lightweight, fully self-sustaining, and surprisingly affordable. The price list that shocked everyone. What truly left the audience speechless wasn't just the tech, but the pricing. Greener Power SUV starting at $18,000. Microsonic Energy Homebox, $6,000. Microic scooter, $1,200. Maxwell's team explained that the goal wasn't profit, but access. The future belongs to everyone, he said. And Africa shouldn't just be part of the future, it should be leading it. How to buy one? For the first time ever, Maxwell's company, Seth Technologies, launched an official portal. Buyers can now place direct orders through a secure system. Initial deliveries will begin in Africa, with global distribution rolling out in phases. The US, Canada, and select EU nations will see availability by mid-2026. Orders will be fulfilled based on region, with a strict verification process to prevent resale exploitation. The test drive that changed everything. Just before closing the announcement, Maxwell invited reporters and skeptics for live demonstrations. One by one, they drove the SUV around a closed track for over 7 hours straight without ever plugging in. No battery drop, no overheating, no tricks. One European engineer present reportedly said, "This doesn't just change transportation, it changes the foundation of energy itself." Global shockwaves and media frenzy. Within 24 hours of Maxwell's announcement, the news went viral. Major outlets like BBC, Al Jazeera, TechCrunch, and CNBC Africa scrambled to cover the unfolding revolution. Social media lit up with hashtags like #MaxwellRevolution, #AfricaLeadsFuture, and #self-powered cars. Critics who once called him a hoax now sat silent. Tesla fans, climate activists, and tech enthusiasts worldwide demanded one thing: how soon can we get ours? The official Seth Technologies site saw over 5 million visitors in a single day, temporarily crashing under the weight of global curiosity. Behind the innovation, the Microsonic Core. In a rare technical breakdown video released later that week, Maxwell himself took viewers inside the Microic energy unit, the beating heart of all his inventions. Using low-frequency radio wave harmonics, the system harnesses atmospheric energy, converting it into rotational mechanical energy without emissions, batteries, or heat loss. His team showed dismantled schematics, operational breakdowns, and even thermal camera footage to debunk claims of hidden fuel cells or backup batteries. No smoke, no wires, no deception, just pure innovation, Maxwell said calmly. Viewers across the globe watched in awe. Orders flood in, factories scale up. By week 2, over 100,000 pre-orders had been recorded. But Maxwell didn't flinch. He already had 3 production hubs under rapid construction in Nairobi, Lagos, and Pretoria. Each facility would employ over 3,000 local workers, integrating AI-driven assembly lines, solar rooftops, and green logistics, proving that innovation doesn't have to sacrifice sustainability or ethics. Government reactions, support and sabotage. While African nations hailed Maxwell as a hero, not everyone was pleased. Oil lobbies in the West, battery manufacturers, and EV giants watched anxiously. Whispers of unfair disruption and violating energy patents began circulating in boardrooms. In a leaked report, one European energy executive wrote, "If this scales globally, it could erase $400 billion in fossil and lithium revenue within 5 years." At the same time, however, governments like Rwanda, Ghana, and Botswana began talks with Seth Technologies for nationwide fleets of micropowered buses and public infrastructure units. The question everyone's asking. As this story develops, one question now echoes across the globe. Is Maxwell's technology the final death blow to fossil fuels? Maxwell hasn't answered that directly. Instead, he ended his last public address with a calm smile and a single phrase: "Africa is no longer asking for the future, we're building it ourselves." First cars delivered, streets of the future. Just 90 days after the announcement, something historic happened. In the bustling suburbs of Johannesburg, the first self-powered EVs were delivered. There were no engine sounds, no charging cables, no gasoline smell. Just smooth acceleration, sleek futuristic interiors, and touchscreens powered by the microcore. Running seamlessly even in the rain, heat, or total darkness. Onlookers filmed the moment with their phones, stunned by the silence and elegance. A child in the crowd whispered, "It feels like the car is alive." In Nairobi, a grandmother took delivery of her own Seth SUV. When asked what she thought of the car, she replied, "I never imagined Africa would build what the world said was impossible. But here we are." YouTubers, reviewers, and engineers react. The tech community didn't stay silent. Major influencers like Marques Brownlee, MKBHD, and engineering explained flew to Zimbabwe to test drive the vehicle. Marques posted a 30-minute breakdown titled, "Maxwell Chikumbutso built a car that breaks physics, or does it?" He put it through real-world tests, uphill climbs, drag races, power meter readings, and even parked it in a lead-line chamber to block all RF signals. The result? Still running perfectly. He ended the video with a stunned expression, "This might be real. And if it is, Tesla has competition. Serious competition." The microsonic energy device goes mainstream. While the EVs caught public attention, another product was quietly exploding in popularity: the microsonic home unit. This microwave-sized box could power an entire home. No solar panels, no batteries, and no fuel. Within weeks, Maxwell released an app showing real-time energy output, environmental impact offset, and lifetime savings. Rural African communities with no previous access to power lit up overnight. Kids who had never watched a cartoon or read a book after sunset were now studying late into the night. The global orders? Over 2.5 million units in less than 60 days. Pressure from above. The shadow grows. But not all stories have bright edges. Multiple sources began reporting cyber attacks on Seth servers, legal threats from energy giants, and mysterious offers from Silicon Valley firms. Some offered Maxwell billions for exclusive rights. He refused them all. Security was tightened. Drone surveillance around the factories became standard. A few whistleblowers even claimed one EV prototype was sabotaged during overseas shipping. Still, production continued, faster, stronger, louder. The U.S. Senate hearing and NASA interest. Yes, even NASA joined the conversation. Maxwell's energy system, it seemed, had potential space applications, especially in off-grid or lunar environments. Meanwhile, a heated debate erupted in the U.S. Senate over whether to ban or license Microic products in America. One senator argued, "We are facing the energy equivalent of the printing press. Either we embrace it or get left behind." A call from Elon Musk. Just 3 weeks after the U.S. Senate hearing, something unexpected happened. Elon Musk, known for rarely acknowledging rival innovations, tweeted, "If what Maxwell Chikumbutso has built is real, it changes everything. Would love to talk." Within hours, speculation exploded. Had Tesla finally acknowledged a serious threat? Would there be a partnership or a showdown? Behind closed doors, sources say Elon reached out not just to Maxwell but to African leaders. He proposed a shared research initiative to validate and possibly scale the Microic tech globally. Maxwell's reply: silence. No tweet, no statement, only a photo posted by his team. Maxwell standing beside a new, never-before-seen two-seater EV aircraft. Captioned, "Our silence builds futures." The first international Seth showroom opens in Dubai. The next move shocked the auto industry. Instead of targeting Silicon Valley or Berlin, Maxwell's team opened their first international showroom in Dubai. Why Dubai? Because it was neutral, progressive, wealthy, and had the infrastructure for a smart energy revolution. The showroom was like a gallery from the future. Self-powered EVs rotated silently on magnetic platforms. Transparent dashboards showed the real-time micropulse. Holograms explained how users could place orders using just biometrics. Within the first 24 hours, over $150 million worth of pre-orders were logged. Luxury car brands scrambled. Ferrari, BMW, Lucid, all started placing inquiries. Not as competitors, but as potential buyers. African nations begin licensing energy sovereignty. As Maxwell's Microic systems prove themselves in real-time grids across Zimbabwe, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, a new term entered political vocabulary: energy sovereignty. African nations were no longer just customers of global oil. They were energy producers with non-polluting, perpetual systems no foreign power could shut down. The African Union held an emergency summit. Maxwell was invited as an honored guest. He proposed a Pan-African tech grid, a shared network of self-powered energy solutions, EV infrastructure, and communication systems powered by Microic cores. All built in Africa, by African engineers. The room applauded. Some cried. One president said, "For the first time, we are not importing the future. We are inventing it." Resistance intensifies, the lawsuit bombshell. But as the world cheered, the corporate resistance dug in. A $500 billion lawsuit was filed against Maxwell by a coalition of oil corporations, legacy automakers, and patent holders. They claimed his tech violated unknown international energy standards. They alleged his research methods were a threat to global energy markets. The news spread like wildfire. Maxwell's face appeared on every major network: BBC, CNN, even Fox News. A single phrase trended globally: #LetAfricaLead. Millions supported him. Some feared a corporate takedown. Others warned it might not stop at lawsuits. The launch of the Seth online platform. And then came his counterstrike. Maxwell unveiled Seth Connect, a secure blockchain-powered platform allowing direct purchase of EVs and Microic devices. Peer-to-peer power trading. Real-time AI diagnostics for every Seth product worldwide. This wasn't just a marketplace. It was a decentralized energy ecosystem. You didn't just buy a car, you joined a global power movement. A world transformed. The world held its breath. Courtrooms filled with corporate lawyers failed to stop what had already begun. The lawsuit was dismissed by a coalition of international judges. They ruled that innovation, when open, ethical, and planet-saving, could not be legally silenced by outdated systems. By the time the ruling came through, over 45 countries had signed partnership agreements with Seth Technologies. From Lagos to Tokyo, Islamabad to Sao Paulo, fleets of self-powered vehicles were already in motion. Gas stations began converting into Microic hubs, offering diagnostics, updates, and community charging exchanges. Not because people needed power, but because they wanted to share it. Yes, share. Because Maxwell's greatest decision wasn't just technological, it was philosophical. He open-sourced a core Microic blueprint to developing nations. He turned competitors into collaborators. He refused the patent greed and instead licensed hope, a monument of light. On the outskirts of Harare, a monument now stands. A 40-foot tower continuously lit using one Microic energy device. Below it, a plaque reads, "To those who believed the impossible was an invitation, not a limit." Children walked past on their way to school. Schools powered with no grid, no bills, no emissions. A new generation is growing up in a world where your home powers itself, where your car never stops to refuel, where your country doesn't need oil to matter. In the end, Maxwell didn't just invent a car or a device. He rewrote the story of Africa. He rewrote the future. And the world followed. The humid air of Harare crackled with anticipation as thousands gathered beneath holographic projections flickering to life above the Seth Technologies headquarters. A child in the front row clutched a toy car, unaware they were about to witness the obsolescence of every gasoline-powered vehicle their parents had ever known. Journalists from 86 countries adjusted their lenses, some sneering at the African energy fairy tale their editors had forced them to cover, while others leaned forward with racing pulses. Maxwell Chikumbutso emerged not from a futuristic hyperloop or drone transport, but walking calmly in hand-stitched Zimbabwean cotton, his calloused engineer's fingers trailing along the prototype's dustless hood. The greener power SUV's matte black surface didn't reflect the noonday sun but seemed to swallow light whole, its curved edges resembling a panther mid-leap frozen in carbon fiber. When Maxwell tapped the dashboard, the vehicle's diagnostics flared to life not in sterile blue LEDs, but in cascading gold and crimson patterns mimicking the great Zimbabwe stone ruins. "Today," Maxwell began, his voice carrying without microphones as the crowd's neural implants automatically amplified him, "we stop asking permission to innovate." A Tesla engineer in the third row suddenly lost satellite connection to Palo Alto as 17,000 personal devices simultaneously switched to the demonstration's unencrypted power stream.